Shalom, Israel. It's that time again. The ISUPK, under Commanding General Yahana, presents the Lord's 57th Annual Passover. That's right, the Lord's 57th Annual Passover, April 4th, 2026, in Houston, Texas. All Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are commanded to observe the Lord's Passover. This will be the biggest Passover to date. You do not want to miss this. Fresh lamb, fresh wine, and bitter herbs as commanded by the Most High. Only $200 per person, ages 17 and up. The biggest event of the year. There is only one Passover, and it's under Commanding General Yahana. See you there, Israel. Shalom.
Nobody else there to compare to. Train for war, men of war, and warlike apparel. Prefer our leaders, can't get between us. Watch where you stepping. Seen heaven turn to hell, I gotta stay alive. Lord have mercy on my soul, stand by my side. I killed the old man and I watched him die. Lost a couple niggas, guess he wasn't my round. Hey, play my niggas, lay you down, they all down the ride. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. I gotta stay alive. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. Tell me we don't live in hell. My brother doing 55 in that cell. Nigga claiming he your round here spin shell. Same nigga you put on to hit the stand and tell. How the fuck you turn your back on a nigga that love you? Treat your kids like my kids, treat you like a brother. I told my dog, let's leave the streets to serve the Most High. He said, fuck that shit, he trying to sell another pot. His daddy killed him, put him in the trunk, set him on fire. His wife was pregnant, he ain't never get to see his child. Had me thinking to myself, what happened if I die? Look my babies in the eyes, I gotta stay alive. I put my ego on the shelf and my pride to the side. I'm with some niggas who gon' step and got God on their side. Got in the ISUPK, they keep asking me why. As I do the work of the Lord, I gotta stay alive. Face the east, pray alive. I seen heaven turn to hell, I gotta stay alive. Lord have mercy on my soul, stand by my side. I killed the old man and I watched him die. Lost a couple niggas, guess he wasn't my round. Hey, play my niggas, lay you down, they all down the ride. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. I gotta stay alive. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive.
You ever pump a pack with a snake by your side? Yes, I see a man reach out to God before he died. Yes, I did. I know the Lord forgive us for these sins, but I'm starting to think the kingdom of heaven is for these kids. I told my daughter, there's one man in your bed, I won't stand for less. For my son, I hit your head on that fragile legs. I lost some niggas to that dope, I lost niggas to the feds. Remember Jono tried to stick me for that cheese on that bread, yeah, I was thugging with Lucky, that nigga left me for dead. Endure to the end, cause I listened to what was said. Mother told me she loved me when she was sick up in the bed. I was running them streets, but the truth made me a man. Shit, I don't really speak, cause she'll never understand. That's why I ain't even tell her about these voices in my head. I'm still trying to manage my anger like Uncle Craig.
I seen heaven turn to hell, I gotta stay alive. Lord have mercy on my soul, stand by my side. I killed the old man and I watched him die. Lost a couple niggas, guess he wasn't my round. They play my niggas, lay you down, they all down the ride. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. I gotta stay alive. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive.
They said free the Palestinians, then celebrate the death of Native Indians. How these other races gon' take us serious? They don't. It's silly thinking you can fight oppression with a vote. I'm so woke, I got sleep deprivation. Belly of the beast giving birth to a nation. You know how I feel to have culture and they take it. It'll never be peace. Tell them free the reservation. Till it's backwards. They don't know that they exist no more. Ever try reaching out for help and you just get ignored? Pick up vices like drugs, your child fill a void. They get a youth life sentence for a killing. He was just a boy. Niggas poor, what we living for? Life a gamble, it's like 10 or 4. Police hands around your neck, they just hit record. We in war, man, this ain't the norm. But you don't know how I feel to be black. Yeah, you don't know how I feel to be black. Yeah, you don't know how I feel to be black. Yeah, you don't know how I feel to be black. Yeah, you don't know. Mama on the stage crying. She just lost her only son to gang violence. Pops level 4 yard talking through the vents. Have you ever tried to hug your loved ones through a fence? Have you ever been hated just because your skin? Have you ever worked all week and couldn't pay your rent? Life a trip, I'm trying to catch my balance. Every step feel like I'm walking backwards. Credit card, but God check the balance. I come from where it's rough, that's why my heart callous. They want you to fall weak, that's a war tactic. Look how we live, what's scary than that? What you know about crossing the Darien Gap? Risk of life to live in hell or bury your kids. Either way we gotta suffer and they just get rich. Life a bitch, why I waste time telling you that? Cause if you ain't a nigga like me, you don't know how I feel to be black. Yeah, you don't know how I feel to be black. Yeah, you don't know how I feel to be black. Yeah, you don't know how I feel to be black. Yeah, you don't know.
Today we're looking at President's Day.
All right, Shalom, Israel. This is the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. We've been established and teaching truth since 1969 under commanding General Yohana. And if you didn't know, I'm going to politely tell you, we're not affiliated with any other organization, Christianity, Islam, Scientology, some fake Israelite camp. As a matter of fact, we are anti of our oppressors. We're anti anything that goes against the teachings of Christ. We're anti anything that goes against God's chosen people, the children of Israel. We're anti those who seek to harm us, who seek to divide us, who seek to stop us from pushing the truth taught to us by the Most High God of Israel. And so with that, we're going to get into a little bit of history about President's Day, because that's the day some of us, as in so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, got a day off. Some, but not all. And the question that I titled is, who can celebrate President's Day, and what race can do it? Like, who should? Like, why? What is the purpose of President's Day? Like, if you are a so-called Black man, a Hispanic woman, a Native American child, what benefit did you get from it outside of it being a day off? Like, what's the main purpose? What is the focus of us partaking to this holiday, and what does it really mean? That's the question I would propose. And over the course of President's Day, I will make it relevant to today's time, because what you hear and see is that most people will come up with a reason they'll come up with a reason to say stuff like this, right? Oh, that was way back then. That's so long ago. That's so many 100 years ago. There's so many generations ago. That don't apply to us now. So, like, I'm going to take this day off, and I'm going to say Happy President's Day because we had a Black president. For those who was around during the Joe Biden regime, they benefited so much. I met so many people, well, not so many, but I met people who would say, like, their businesses thrived when Trump was reigning the first time. Some people say they benefit so much from Joe Biden. Some people say they benefit much from Trump again today. So most will say they'll do things off of their own personal experience. They will celebrate things or honor things based on like what they're feeling and dealing with at that particular time. So with that, we're going to get into more of it. We're going to get into more of what's going on. We're going to get into more about how one should honor things, or should they honor things. And if you are a so-called, white American or U.S. citizen along those lines, or if you are a non-Black, Hispanic, or Native American, you can do whatever you like. I couldn't imagine, or maybe I can. Could you imagine an Asian man saying Happy President's Day? You can see them in the military. That's almost the equivalent of saying, Happy President's Day if you join the military, especially to put your life on the line. But what major benefit do us as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans get from celebrating it? Like, is there such thing called an honor code? Because I remember, like, like the past 20, 30 years, like, and granted, it's nonsense, but I'm just about to give you an example that some Black people would not, if he was gang affiliated, like if your brother belonged to a gang that would wear stuff on the right side and they chose a certain color, you would not date a guy who wore stuff on the left side and wore a certain color. You would keep those type of affiliations away from one another, and or on the same tip as far as like who you're affiliated with. Like, I remember when I was growing up, like I had relatives who used to be a part of gang affiliation. They used to be a part of Crips. And you better not think that you're gonna be in that household think you're gonna be a blood when red when everyone else was wearing blue. So some people had a certain amount of loyalty to the family. That's best when I focus on where's your loyalty at? How can you understand that in this country, certain leaders that they have certain leaders that they had would do abominable things to us. Like they do all kind of manner of things that you wouldn't even want to say online, things that you wouldn't want to say in person. Con, I got you checking in Hebrew, your high washing and shepherd. So these are the type of individuals who does abominable things. So what benefit would you get from being disloyal? What benefit do you get from going against the grain? Maybe that should be like the better lingo. Are you the type of individual who's going to go against the grain? Because President's Day, along with a lot of other American holidays, oh, how can I forget? Valentine's Day was just here, in which I don't think, no, I did not teach Valentine's Day last Monday. I taught something else. But if need be, I can definitely give you a quick refresher on Valentine's Day and how that all started or whatnot. But who would have thought that you would have to be taught a lesson about what not to celebrate when it comes to having honor and integrity for like your own preservation of your own race? Like which I got a video gonna play later on about Trump and what he said about, well, who cares about the heathen, but what Trump said about a so-called Black president. His wife was Black. So this is how Trump views us. So this is how he views us as our race of people. Because most people, without him saying it, always felt like that Trump was a racist commander in chief, whether they had the tangible evidence or not. But it is clear when a oppressor makes a monkey joke, that is always included to a derogatory racial epithet. Is always doing that. Which this is what baffles me. Here's what I don't get about the monkey jokes, right? Here's what I don't understand. For one, who's generally hairier, Blacks or whites? Supposed to be Caucasians over Israelites, all right? Caucasians are the ones who are more hairier. Who has the thinner lips? I mean, let me just see if I can pull it up. Who looks more like a monkey? You know, that's what I would pull up. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna pull up real quick. And maybe I might say this when I bring up the Trump part. Oh, I saw an image and it was like face to face. And boy, I could not unsee it. Oh, gone it. No, I can't find it. I don't know what I was on when I saw that. Uh, thanks. But bear with me 1 second. I'm see if I can pull this up for y'all real quick. Nah, I don't see it. I have to go back to figure out what the hell I did to find it. But yeah, but they always say we come from monkeys, but no one talks about how the hell, well, if they say we come from monkeys and they're the oldest civilization, maybe they're the ones who come from monkeys. Maybe they're the ones who who uh who did not evolve. But they always come to about black people. Maybe I'll do a little more research to figure out how is it that when it comes to the images of a monkey outside of color, which is their black fur, which they have the small lips like them. They have the animalistic characteristics. They have the whole lifestyle of out in the open. Where everyone knows, or most people don't know, during the dark ages, black people taught the European race, the Caucasian race, how to be a little bit more civilized. And then when they got power, it's called the Renaissance era. So that's the part I would like to bring up. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would like to see. That's what I would bring up. Bear with me 1 more second. I'm gonna pull up one more thing. Let me see if I can do it this way. No, that's not it. Oh, I saw that. Man, I wish I could find that. Doggone it. But yeah, this was a good one. It was a real good one. Someone had put it like on YouTube, not YouTube, like a reel or something. And they're like, well, who's the monkey now? That's what they was titling it. And they did a comparison about, oh, look at this certain race. Let me try one more thing. But yes, if y'all got any comments, questions, just make sure y'all type it in the comments section. And I'll get to all your questions or whatnot. Let me do it. But yeah, that's what I was gonna bring out. Because yeah, some of your favorite people who love to look at your commander in chief rather. And no one ever talks about like his things that he does. No one talks about like, okay, no one talks about like the outlandish things that he says, the insensitive things that he says, or like his policies about who's been affected by it. So, but yeah, so it's not on here. So let me get off this. If I find it later, I'll bring it up. But yeah, so that's what we're gonna get into. So we're gonna talk about vaguely about what's happening on the earth. We're gonna talk about vaguely, not so much vaguely about the method behind President's Day. And of course, I'm gonna bring out an article. I'm gonna bring out some scriptures. I'm going to bring out a couple of videos just so you can visualize what's going on and how our oppressor, how they use President's Day to make it be more of an honorable thing to do. How they use President's Day to say this is the correct behavior, this is the correct lifestyle, this is the correct mindset one should have with dealing with such said holidays or dealing with such said uh things associated with America. They always want to talk about be a patriot and you should go out and salute your country. But no one talks about what your commander in chief is doing. Like, so anybody let's say you're anti the current regime as it is. If you say Happy President's Day, that means you're promoting the current regime that it is and all the previous regimes of it. So, like, if you're going to honor and celebrate President's Day, that means you're going to honor George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, but all the other presidents who's had slaves. Now, what does it have to do with today? Like I said, if you are one of the people who's able to get a day off, you take your day off. But don't honor this day because it wasn't made for you. This was made for our oppressor. And like I said, I'm going to bring out the scriptures of why, if you are so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, why you shouldn't celebrate President's Day. Everything is in the Old Testament and New Testament. So, like I said, I got a couple of videos I want to play for y'all and a couple articles, and then we'll go from there. But the first things up is I'm going to bring out your favorite commander-in-chief, Mr. Orange himself. I released a video about Monkey Barack Obama and his monkey trans woman, handsome wife, Michelle Obama. So that's what we're going to bring out. But that's what some people say. The sister not trans. I don't think she is, but someone said that, and I just cannot unsee it. So I'm going to bring out how he said it about that particular race of people. So let me get up the StreamYard real quick. What I want to do. Let me share this one instead. All right. Bear with me 1 second. Let me make it larger. All right. We'll go with that. All right. So bear with me 1 second. Let me zoom in so y'all can read it. And here's another thing. Here's the slight. Now I can teach. I'm a teach a class on the history of Black History Month, right? But here's another slight. Everyone knows that President's Day primarily, which all of them has been Caucasian men, with the exception of a Hamite, which would be Barack Obama. All of them has been Caucasian men. And here it is, you got a month for Black people celebrating a Caucasian man's holiday. Or let's just say for those who might say, like, well, Barack Obama was Black, whatever. Right now, you have a Caucasian president, and you're going to celebrate him during Black History Month. That's what I wanted to point out. You're going to celebrate Black History Month with a Caucasian president in the midst of your month. So a quick little article I brought out real quick. And as y'all can see up here, we're going to talk about George Washington as well, and him having his wood teeth from slaves that people want to celebrate and honor. Wait 1 second. All right, so let me see what I got. Let me see what I got. All right, so President's Day. This is a United States holiday observed annually on the third Monday in February. The day is legally designated as Washington's birthday. Now, let's pause right there. First of all, who? Yeah, Con Hebrew, like Donald Trump. As a matter of fact, stick around. I got a video I'm gonna play about Trump. Trump released a video of like some monkeys running, but he put Barack Obama's face on there, and he put his wife, Michelle Obama's face on there, and they're like running through like a jungle or something. And he did not apologize. He did not care who he offended. But the point I'm bringing out is that for those people who accept Barack Obama or who are just pro-Black anything, everyone knows that our oppressor used those type of racial epithets towards us, and they would still go out and honor his President's Day. And that's why I'm bringing out some of the history to show that President's Day is about a slave owner's birthday. Like, who in their right mind cares about George Washington's birthday? I would never say happy belated birthday to some old deceased slave owner. But yeah, but Trump is an incredible, insensitive, do what he want, fool, tyrant, arrogant, bigotries, Israelite Hebrew hater. Like, he hates God's chosen people, along with a few other races, but he hates God's chosen people, and he don't give a damn about who he offends or how he offends them. Trump will say something that's insensitive, and then find out he said the wrong thing, and just be like, "Oh, that's a my bad. It still was true," and he won't give a damn. Like, he will apologize and then undermine his own apology. Like, Trump is an individual that I don't see anyone or see how anyone could take him serious. But yeah, so that's what he said. So yeah, Trump is a something else. Like, he got a lot of nonsense he got going on. Because real quick, United States presidents observe. Okay, United States holiday observed annually on the third Monday in February. The day is legally designated as Washington's birthday. It officially honors George Washington, the country's first president's efforts to change the name of President's Day and include Abraham Lincoln's, ultimately failed in Congress. However, the holiday became widely known as President's Day and is popularly understood to recognize both Washington and Lincoln as well as other U.S. presidents. So here it is. You got a guy who had slaves as your president, and they're going to honor him by saying, "Happy birthday to you." So not only are you saying Happy President's Day to honor George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, and what they also say other President's Day, but it's more so like happy birthday to you, George Washington. That's essentially what you're doing. Happy birthday to you. And who would want to? All right. Who would want to celebrate this type of evil man? This type of man that done incredible evil things to God's chosen people. This kind of man who done incredible evil things to, and the things he did that was evil that caused so much pain. Like it it's one thing to talk about how wicked someone can be and how evil they are. It's another thing to talk about what they actually did. So like when I say that, I mean like it's one to say, oh, this person's wicked, they evil. But like once you start looking at like actions behind them and the deeds that they actually done, then you can be like, okay, what what actually did they do? And the things that they did do, how much pain did it cause? What I'm gonna get at is that very shortly, I'm gonna get into George Washington Ditchers, how he got his teeth, and the amount of pain that it could have caused for him to get those teeth. You understand? You understand? So we're gonna go into that, and we're gonna go a little bit more on this article. I'm gonna play a video, break down that video, go to another article, play another video, go into some scriptures, and so forth. So that's what we're gonna get into. And let me get back into this article. So just so you have like a little brief history about it, so that way you know something vaguely about President's Day, which also the video is going to confirm what I'm reading. So it's just an article by Britannica. So at your own leisure, if you like, you just look up a little bit of history about President's Day. But while you look it up, look at the years it was established, and then look at the condition of Black people, Hispanics, and Native Americans. How were their conditions back then? Was it of an honorable position? Was it of a something that we should partake into? Like, should we have dealt with these type of celebratory fashions of like honoring our oppressor when we were the ones who were mistreated? When it was our great granddad and great grandfathers and our ancestors who had chose a side, which was being to stick with the side of their race, but not the side of their countrymen or the citizenship if they had it. All right, so there's a little bit more on this article. It says the origin of presidents lies in 1880s when the birthday of Washington commander and Continental Army during the American Revolution. And the first president of the United States was first celebrated as a federal holiday. It says in 1968, Congress passed a Uniform Monday holiday bill, which removed the number of federal holidays to Mondays. The change was designed to schedule certain holidays so that workers had a number of long weekends throughout the year. But it has also been opposed to those who believe that those holidays should be celebrated on the dates they actually commemorate. So that's what they're talking about. So this is a little bit more about, birthdays of one oppressor to the next oppressor. It says during the debate on the bill, this is talking about how they got it to, how they chose the third Monday versus like his actual date that he was born. Miscellaneous stuff. We ain't gonna get into all that. But what we are gonna get into, this video I got up in the queue for you. All right. It's a short video, so I'm gonna share this tab and we'll go from there.
Hello, welcome to the Daily Bell Ringer. Please don't forget to subscribe and take a look at the questions down in the description. Each year in the United States, on the third Monday in February, we celebrate President's Day. For many years, this holiday was celebrated differently from state to state and didn't become an official federal holiday until 1885. In order to really understand the origins of President's Day, though, we have to go back to the very first president, George Washington.
For those of y'all who do not know, this was an evil man. Now, granted, there are presidents after him who were evil. Don't get that twisted. There was some that was evil. But this one right here, I can't say he takes the cake as in the most evil. Well, boy, is he up there. Boy, is he up there. All right, Salaki.
Washington died on December 14, 1799, at the age of 67. And almost immediately upon his death, Americans began calling for a day to honor Washington, who had led the nation through the American Revolution, had been a leader of writing the Constitution, and of course was the first president. So on February 22nd, which was Washington's birthday, people began having celebrations to honor him. So in the early 1800s, there was no official holiday, but as the century continued, more people called for Washington's birthday to be recognized, especially in 1832, which would have been Washington's 100th birthday. And then a few years later, in 1848, construction was begun on the Washington Monument in Washington, D.C. So again, there were calls for a national holiday. But it wouldn't be until after the American Civil War that an official call for a federal holiday came. In the late 1870s, a senator from Arkansas named Stephen Wallace Dorsey proposed a bill to make Washington's birthday a federal holiday. The bill was passed through Congress, and in 1879, President Rutherford B. Hayes signed it into law. Now, initially, the holiday was only...
Now, everyone back then knew about the evil that George Washington was. That's why I said other presidents are on par with the evil previous presidents of their forefathers or their kinsmen. Like these are generations of evil men who don't give a damn how America was established, about who they had to unalive or who they had to enslave to get America built. He's going to honor this man, say, hey, you are the very first president and one of our favorite presidents to have slaves. President to do this to get this country established, and we're going to honor you in this capacity. More evil men, more evil doers. Salak.
celebrated in the District of Columbia or Washington, D.C., but in 1885, it was expanded to the entire nation. The holiday, of course, was not called President's Day. It was simply Washington's birthday. And whatever day of the week February 22nd fell on, that was the holiday, and it remained that way for almost 100 years. It wasn't until the late 1960s that there came a change to Washington's birthday celebration. Senator Robert McClory of Illinois pushed for what was called the Uniform Holiday Act. The idea was to take holidays that fell on random days of the week and push them to Mondays so that Americans would have a 3-day weekend. This had a lot of support from workers and labor unions, but it also had a lot of support from retailers as they saw a 3-day weekend as an opportunity to make more money. And just think about today, how many President's Day sales we see each year. But
yeah, Slack, have you ever thought about that? All the sales that's going on for you to go out and buy stuff on George Washington's birthday. Slack.
Now, as the debate went on in Congress, some began to argue that we had another famous president's birthday in February, Abraham Lincoln. February 12, 1809 was Lincoln's birthday, and with Illinois Senator McClory leading the charge for this law and Illinois being the land of Lincoln where they were already having celebrations for his birthday, now the idea came, if we move the holiday away from Washington's actual birthday of February 22nd and just made it a Monday, then why not just put Lincoln in there too and call it President's Day? So in 1968, the Uniform Holiday Act was passed, and it went into effect in 1971 following an executive order from...
Look at this other evil man, the Nixon, the one who's responsible for like pushing crack into the Black, Hispanic, and Native American neighborhoods, primarily the Blacks with the crack epidemic. All these evil men, evil doers, wicked men, Salakia, they all stick together. It's not by accident Trump is choosing to jump ship because of his hatred and disdain for Black skin. But they always going to stick together with the amount of evil that they have towards us.
President Richard Nixon. Now, President's Day would be on the third Monday in February, but also in the act, Columbus Day, Memorial Day, and Veterans Day were all moved to Mondays. Today, there is some debate of what President's Day actually is meant for. Is it supposed to be for all presidents, or is it supposed to be just about Washington and Lincoln? Some argue that by honoring all presidents, the holiday is somewhat cheapened, but however you want to celebrate the holiday, just take a moment and appreciate the democracy that we have and the system we have of electing new leaders every few.
Did y'all hear what this piece of garbage says? If no matter how you look at it, was all presidents or just the couple's birthday, they feel like it's cheap. He said, just be thankful for the democracy that we have. Not how you got this democracy. Not like that you had to unalive millions of people, get free labor, and they still not got justice yet. He said, just be thankful that you got a system of democracy that Blacks, Hispanics, and Americans built off of their backs, off of the bloodshed, off of them losing life force after their bodies turned cold. He wants you to be thankful that President George Washington, yeah, he did this to these slaves, but look at what we got today. We're the number one country on earth. You should be thankful that you got democracy. He don't give a damn about the plight of Black people, the plight of Hispanics, the plight of Native Americans. They just want you to be thankful for President's Day. Be happy that it's just George Washington's birthday and President Lincoln's birthday all rolled into one. They want you to be happy that America is established. Sloppy.
Years. So with that, hopefully you learned something, and thanks for watching. Since the holiday is somewhat cheapened, Washington and Lincoln. Some argue that by honoring all presidents, the holiday is somewhat cheapened, but however you want to celebrate the holiday, just take a moment and appreciate the democracy that we have and the system we have of electing new leaders every few years. So
he wants you to be thankful that in this system, we can elect any leader we so choose. In this system, Sloppy, hold up. Okay, there we go. He wants to be like, in this system, we can elect anyone we so choose. Just be thankful for it. No, damn that system. So I'm gonna pull up another article. Bear with me one moment. All right, let me close one down. All right, so bear with me 1 second. All right. So now we on George Washington, the evildoer himself. All right. Let me see the next video I got up in the queue for y'all. All right, so I'm gonna get one more video played for y'all real quick.
watching.
Let me go to my next video. Bear with me one moment.
One day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color.
It says character like a tree and a reputation like a shadow. The shadow is what we think of. The tree is the real thing. Whatever. He got that from a brother.
Their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream.
Look at this. Hold on. Real quick. In case this went over somebody's head. Another abomination, as the president says, character is like a tree and reputation is like a shadow. The shadow is what we think of. The tree is a real thing. He is an evil tree that bears evil fruit. How fitting for him to come up with this, if he did come up with it. I don't give any those type of people, those type of predators of any credit of something deep or eloquent. I give them credit for stealing. Salaki.
Where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream.
And how fitting they got major sellout of Michael Luther King or Martin Luther King in the background. Salaki. So I'm gonna be talking during this. So this is talking about Black History Month, but we also talks about presidents inside of it.
America celebrates President's Day and honors Black History Month every year.
Now, these are quotes about some of these presidents, so I just want to point out some of the hypocrisy. Because like I said, later on in class, I'm going to bring out what they were actually doing. It says, good moral character is the first essential in a man. Now, how can a man who had slaves talk about good moral character? How can a man who who unalives people based on just their skin complexion has anything about good character and what's essential for in a man? Salakia. Like these type of men are abominations. These type of characteristics or these type of predators should not be. We shouldn't take nothing that they say of anything that's of righteous or of any type of moral code. They're all liars and they don't believe in what they say. All right, Salaki.
Observances are so essential to our growth as a nation.
Look at all these evildoers. I mean, you can just pick one. All of them evildoers. It don't matter which one you choose. Every last one of them. Even the one that wasn't as evil as the previous. All are evildoers. All are predators. Salaki.
And so powerful in their messages to young people. Yes, it is a celebration of achievements. It is also, more so, a celebration of human character.
Evildoers.
It's an honoring turned the tides, held their ground.
This one right here, bottom left. Oh my God. Now, if you still, for those who are still watching, if you could, type in the comment section who you think the most wicked president is or was. And it can be, dead or alive. It doesn't matter. Who you think the most wicked one was?
Never gave up. Turned the tides.
We're not gonna listen to those music. So they're just going over a list of evil men. I just wanted to show you. Show you. Dr. Maya Angelou.
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll arise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Just because I walk as if I have oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like suns and like moons, with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I rise.
So we're just showing over different prominent men. Hold on 1 second. Rewind this for y'all. I'm just skimming through this. That is my sister right there. So I just wanted to show some of these. Oh, look at that. Another heathen piece of garbage. So I just want to show some of those so I can get back to my main point, which would be right in here about who this piece of garbage was, like how evil was he and what he had going on. And just so you can see or imagine the type of evil that he done. So since we own this filthy piece of garbage, let's go ahead and talk about this evil man. So for those who don't know, in brief history, President's Day was basically founded as to represent George Washington's birthday, February 22nd, to honor him as the very first president and him established in America, so forth and so on. So essentially, President's Day is the birthday of this particular man. Now, if you are so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American, why is this day important for you not to fool with? Like I said earlier, we all are slaving in this country, and we got to deal with stuff in this country. If you got the day off, take the day off, enjoy your day off, get your day of rest, etc. But you shouldn't go out saying like Happy President's Day. Like if you had to go out and buy something, if you can afford it, and it was a good steal or a good deal because it was on sale, then you buy your stuff. No one's saying not to buy nothing in America, But what we're talking about is you honoring this day of heathens, you honoring this day of this day like this, because we don't want our people to celebrate anyone's birthday, yet alone a birthday of our oppressor, yet alone the ones who had a direct hand into your destruction, who had a direct hand into your downfall, who had a direct hand into setting the trend of presidents or so-called Caucasian leaders to be evil towards God's chosen people. So this right here is talking about the siege. I want to skip down to something about him having dentures. Here we go. So right here, I'm gonna try to highlight this to see how y'all see it. Bear with me 1 second. All right, that ain't bad. That ain't bad. Let me try to zoom in just a taste and double check one more time. Okay, yeah, that looks pretty twab. So I'll read it from here. So they talk about popular myths about George Washington. It says the second one is the wooden teeth myth. It was rumored that Washington had wooden dentures, and scholars well into the 20th century who quoted as saying his false teeth were made from wood. Not true. It says he never wore wooden dentures, instead using those with ivory, gold, and even human teeth. George Washington, President's Day, he had dentures. It says he never wore wooden dentures. Instead, he used those with ivory, gold, and human teeth. That man is wearing human teeth. Now, let's get into this video. Salakia. I got a video for y'all, of course. Lead with character. Oh, baloney. Bear with me 1 second. Double check you to
The biggest misconception about George Washington is that he had wooden teeth.
And this is one of the myths that children still repeat today. George Washington suffered from horrible dental disease for many, many years.
It plagued him his entire life. He's pouring money into dentistry. He's getting teeth pulled.
The revolution, he was becoming toothless.
The dentures were not made of wood. They were made of human teeth. Some of his own, he kept them.
Yeah, hear what she said? Dentures were made of human teeth. Now pause real quick. Who will want to wear another human's teeth inside of their own damn mouth? We get the people who wear gold, and you take the gold, you melt it, you mold it to whatever you like. We get all that, but you are wearing human teeth. This is the type of man you got to deal with. This man is taking someone close to his age or someone who had a tooth that looked like similar to his style, or he might like their smile. He's pulling out their teeth to put into dentures so he can wear it. That's the type of evil man you're dealing with. This is the type of man that will, like earlier I said in class, just imagine hearing about a wicked man and then seeing what that wicked man actually done. Because it's one thing to talk about all their evil. It's another thing to see the evil that they are actually doing. You got a man who's going to tie some slave down, whether it be a woman or a man or even a young child or a young teenager. Strap them down and just pull out their teeth so he can put inside of a damn denture so he can wear a smile. So he can look good and feel good about himself because his raggedy ass mouth is all jackball. Salafi.
They also had ivory and other animal teeth.
Animals, cows were used. Their teeth were filed down. We also know that those dentures were made from the teeth of enslaved people.
Those dentures was made from the teeth of enslaved people. So when you got slaves, you're already giving them hell. You're already whooping their backs in, making them work from can't see in the morning to can't see at night. You're already graping. You're already pillaging and plundering. You already had some PDFers over there. You already got so much evil that you're getting free labor that you're beating their backs in. You're making them work for free. That wasn't enough. Now you got to come take out their teeth because your raggedy ass couldn't brush your own goddamn teeth. Or your raggedy ass mouth had got so much cancer from smoking, or God knows whatever the hell else you was doing. Because you are a disgusting human being. And then to hell with him if he had any kids and his kinsmen. These type of men are evil men. Why the hell would anybody want to celebrate this type of man? This type of man wears slaves' teeth. Salakia.
Down. We also know that those dentures were made from the teeth of enslaved people.
Washington owned hundreds of slaves.
He actually paid money to have healthy teeth removed from enslaved people to then be placed in his mouth.
One, they said he had hundreds of slaves, and he paid for them slaves to get their teeth pulled. This is the type of man they want you to honor by saying Happy President's Day. This is the type of man, like the one Edomite that said, like, be thankful for President's Day because now we have a democracy. This man that he's talking about being thankful for, that's his dentures right there. Slaves' teeth.
To extract teeth from someone without anesthetic was traumatic. It was horrible without anesthetic.
Hold on, I got to replay this part real quick. They're going to talk about, just imagine you're not some child whose teeth is about to come out. It's already been wiggled and loose. They're talking about with no anesthesia, no anesthetic. They're going to extract these teeth. You had to tie these people down to take out their teeth because your raggedy ass couldn't keep your own teeth up. You couldn't brush your teeth because you are a filthy, disgusting human being. You are trash. You are the scum of the earth. You and your entire kinsmen are the scum of the earth. And anybody that says Happy President's Day, they can be the scum of the earth along with you. This is an evil man, an evil doer. Salakia. And keep going. I just want to make sure I rewind this part real quick so you can hear about what the scholars had said this filthy piece of garbage, and based on the notes that was taken at that time about what this filthy piece of garbage was doing.
Extract teeth from someone.
To have healthy teeth removed from enslaved people to then be placed in his mouth.
To extract teeth from someone without anesthetic was traumatic. It was horribly painful. It was inhumane.
This is somebody that the wealthy elite could do. That says a
Just like I said, just imagine that pain. Just imagine you going to the dentist today, and it's. I've never had a root canal, but I saw like the process of how it's done. Just imagine that pain and that drilling and stuff. They just cranking and pulling. Just imagine if you seen or you know someone who got like their teeth pulled. That is pain. That's not something that's pleasurable. That is pain that they're not talking about. That is with no anesthetics. That is painful. And yet here and still, this filthy piece of garbage who had money, who had a boatload of slaves as property, just looking at them like cattle and just taking out a tooth, taking out a couple right here, taking out a molar here. Like, you got a nice smile. Give me those. He just picking out slaves' teeth like he just go up to the goddamn jewelry store to buy a ring, to buy a bracelet. You understand? It's a lot
about power, a lot about control, and a lot about the elite nature of owning enslaved people and doing what you want to their bodies.
Slavery for him was central in terms of one's status, but it was also crucial to financial success.
You had lots of land. It was no good unless you had enslaved people to work the land. So it was very important to acquire both if you wanted to be what they would have called a Virginia gentleman.
Our founding fathers who were fighting for liberty and independence and justice and denied that to a whole race of people.
And in the end, he does the right thing. In his will, he frees his slaves upon the death of his wife. Now, you can say,
now look at this piece of garbage trying to talk about out of all the slaves' teeth he done took out and all the slaves he done had, he did the right thing by letting them go free. What the hell ever?
He doesn't free him in his own life, but he's the only member of the Virginia dynasty to do this. Jefferson doesn't do it, Madison doesn't do it, Monroe doesn't do it, Patrick Henry doesn't do it.
We just have to understand him as a complicated person who was flawed and who made decisions, sometimes on behalf of the nation and sometimes on behalf of himself. And that, to me, does not diminish him as a president or leader. It just helps us have a more complicated and accurate
Now
interpretation.
listen to this good slave. You know what he did, the evil he done doesn't diminish him from being a good president. Oh, really? So owning slaves doesn't diminish you. And here's the reason why, when I bring out these scriptures, why we can't have certain of our own kinsmen in charge, because they will lead us back to them. She just talked about the horrible things this man done to so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and yet and say he's a complicated man, and yet and say that, oh, it shouldn't diminish his good works. So how did he hit? How does a slave owner have good works? What, he fought against the revolution? He fought against the Brits to free America from the British? Is that what you're saying? He fought against who? He done what? Exactly. These types of people cannot be trusted, should not be celebrated, should not be honored. We should start naming these individuals to say, you should be barred, you should not be dealt with. Like, we should mark those who mistreat us until they repent, until they stop. You understand? Uh, we should always have like a separation as a race first. You understand? So I can't believe that this piece of garbage right here is talking about the good he's done, as if like taking over human life and treating it like cattle is a good thing. No, he was an evil man. He was evil. We don't give a damn what he did for America. The hell with America, how he had it established. What benefit was towards your people? Salaki.
Our first president.
We wanted just a touch, just in case you missed it.
Roe doesn't do it. Patrick.
Decisions, sometimes, and him as a complicated person who was flawed and who made decisions, sometimes on behalf of the nation and sometimes on behalf of himself. And that, to me, does not diminish him as a president or leader. It just helps us have a more complicated and accurate interpretation of our first president.
Notice she said our. Oh, a good slave. Salaki.
Many people believe that.
All right. Of course, I got like another short video, but I still going to bring out about all the other nonsense that this piece of garbage was doing. So let me play this next video real quick.
George Washington's teeth were made out of wood. The truth is, when he took his oath of office, he was actually using dentures made from ivory, brass, gold, and extracted teeth from slaves. But it should be noted that he paid 122 shillings for 9 of the teeth. The reason people thought that they were made out of wood is because of the stains on the teeth, making them appear to be wooden. Now you know, like and subscribe.
So you can see this. George Washington teeth were from slaves. George Washington famous denture Wharton wood. They were made from teeth purchased from his slaves for 122 shillings, which would be about 15,000 today. Mount Vernon records from 1784 show Washington brought 9 teeth from enslaved people in his plantation, likely extracted without anesthesia. His dentist Jean-Pierre Lemaire incorporated these human teeth with hippopotamus ivory and gold wire to create Washington dentures. Washington wore multiple sets of painful dentures throughout his presidency, constantly suffering from dental problems. Who give a damn about his nasty, raggedy ass mouth? The myth of wooden teeth projected Washington's legacy for centuries, hiding the disturbing reality of America's first presidents literally wore his slaves' teeth in his mouth while proclaiming liberty and justice. The big hypocrite. The big hypocrite. So real quick, the big hypocrite. Let's get into the scripture real quick. What on? Deuteronomy what? The big hypocrite himself. Deuteronomy 17 and 14. That's what I want. 17 and 14, Deuteronomy. $17, 14. The big hypocrite. The big hypocrite. So this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 17, verse 14. Let me check the stream, see how it looks. Everything looks to wild. All right, let's get into it. Salaki, I hit the wrong tab. It says, when thou art come unto the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, and shalt possess it, and shalt dwell therein, and shalt say, I will set king over me, like as all the nations that are about me. All right. Now we're going to get into who should be ruling over Israel. And who should and who can't. Deuteronomy 17 and 15. Thou shalt in any wise set king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose, one from among thy brethren. Now, first of all, brethren is like your kinsman, your race. First of all, George Washington is not our race. Joe Biden isn't our race. Barack Obama isn't our race. President Trump isn't our race. It says one from among thy brethren. God would not have chose these type of evil, wicked men to be over us. All right. It says one from among thy brethren, brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Though mayest not set a stranger over thee. We can't set these strangers. We can't accept that woman who talk about President Trump or a woman who thinks like her is a complicated man. Your Al Sharptons of the world, any religious leader, mega black churches. We can't allow them to come up and say like we can allow them to be in charge because they would hand over rulership to them. It says, though mayest set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. We can't set anyone who's outside of the children of Israel to rule over us. So right now, their leader is Commanding General Yohanan, is the leader of Israel. He is your brother. He is not a stranger. He is your kinsman. It cannot be your Joe Bidens of the earth, your President Trumps of the earth. All right, so that's it on that. So let me just go back, because I want to make sure I go back and forth between scriptures to show that we cannot have these type of heathens amongst us. So let me get one more video for y'all. And here's what we're about to get into. Bear with me one moment. So this is a post your commander-in-chief made, Mr. Donald Trump himself. That is Barack Obama on the figure of a monkey, and his wife Michelle Obama.
The White House has taken down a Truth Social video depicting former President. The White House has taken down a Truth Social video depicting former President Barack Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama as monkeys. The White House says a staffer erroneously made the post. It was up for 12 hours. Senator Tim Scott posted to X, quote, praying it was fake because it's the most racist thing I've seen out of this White House. The president should remove it. The video was mostly about vote counting technology before scrolling to an apparent AI-generated image of the Obama's faces photoshopped onto two monkeys, a racist trope. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says, quote, this is from an internet meme video depicting President Trump as the king of the jungle and Democrats as characters from The Lion King. The clip from Trump's post is not from Disney's The Lion King, as the movie does not feature gorillas or orangutans. Barack Obama's former national security advisor denounced the video, calling Trump a, quote, stain on American history. The White House has dismissed the video, calling the criticism, quote, fake outrage. Senator Tim Scott posted to monkeys. The White House says a staffer erroneously made the post. For President Barack Obama,
they are always talking about fake news. They are always talking about what the hell is fake. How about the life of this presidency and him acting like he's for all people is fake? This is what your president thinks of black people. For those of y'all who think that he only dislikes our brown brothers and sisters of Hispanics, he dislikes a bevy of us. He dislikes all of Israel. It's just that he has a preference of his hatred in an order that he chooses to attack. He has a preference of his hatred about who he's going to dislike, who he's going to fight, who he wants to get rid of first, which all of Israel is included, but he got a pecking order. You understand? And that's why it's so important to look at Deuteronomy, because when you set other nations to be king over thee, this is what you get. You get those who look like him, who has this type of talking points. I'm finna share this tab. I'm gonna get Deuteronomy 4 and 37. I'm gonna get Deuteronomy 4 and 37. We all know about who those fathers were. These are your actual fathers. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 37. And because he loved thy fathers, therefore he chose their seed after them and brought thee out of the sight of the mighty power of Egypt. So I can go on to next. And this is just talking about how he drove other nations out. It says to drive out nations from before thee, greater and mightier than thou art, to bring thee in and to give their land for an inheritance as it is on this day. Like we gotta go back to like who our forefathers were. You understand? So this is right here. If you're going to celebrate President's Day, this is what you're celebrating. Go back to 17. So I just want to make sure while we understand this real quick. 17, let's go 15. So this is why this is so important. Deuteronomy 17 and 15. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose, one from among thy brethren. Well, I'm gonna pause that real quick. Look at this real quick. This is why we got to choose our own kinsmen. This is why the Lord has to choose them to be one from among our brethren and not from our oppressor. You understand? To hell with President's Day and his fake teeth and him buying slaves and choosing slaves, etc. All right. I'm gonna go back and forth real quick. It says, one from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. This man right here, where's he at? 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 1 second. I'll get there. This man is a stranger to the children of Israel. He is not thy brother. We cannot set him king over thee. And that just goes to anybody, whether it be your mayor, your senator, your governor, etc. That's why you don't vote for them, because we cannot set them to be king over thee. You understand? This right here is nuts. And it's just something like that. So he's gonna make this about them right real quick, Salakia. Because someone made a video about him being Lion King, so he's gonna target Barack Obama and his wife. Like, what kind of petty president are you? Someone else does it. Like, why not figure out who made the video and go target them and go speak to them or go say something to them? He's gonna target these two. That's this type of leader that you have in his filthy, abominable, the new Babylon, free labor, slave labor, America. You understand? So this is what we have. This is your president in chief. This is what he wants. Salaki, hold on. Let me go back to him so y'all can see this right here. This is not thy brother. This is not thy brother. And this is what he loves to have. And then here's a good slave.
Scott posted to X, quote, praying it was fake.
Praying it was fake because it's the most racist thing I've seen. Now, don't pray that it's fake. He's done plenty of questionable things or irresponsible things or hatred towards God's chosen people. There's no need to pray that it's fake. You need to accept the fact that you have a president who hates your kinsmen. And you have been bumping elbows and shaking hands and greasing your palms off of their labor, off the fruits of their labor or the fruits of the things they had to give you if you went against your own. Mr. Tim Scott, you are part of the problem. You just like that one sister that I played in a recent video on YouTube about saying that George Washington was a complicated man. He done great things for America while having slaves. What an oxymoron, what a contradictory. No one wants to hear about you unaliving our kinsmen for the sake of this country because you want to build America. And you taking out their teeth with no anesthesia. This is part of the problem. We cannot set these type of people to be kings over us because they're going to lead us to more destruction. All right? I'll let this
Because
video
it's the
play
most
out.
racist thing I've seen out of this White House. The president should remove it. The video was mostly about vote counting technology before scrolling to an apparent AI generated image of the Obama's faces photoshopped onto two monkeys, a racist trope. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says, quote, "This is from an internet meme video depicting President Trump as the king of the jungle and Democrats as characters from The Lion King." The clip from Trump's post is not from Disney's The Lion King, as the movie does not feature gorillas or orangutans. Barack Obama's former national security advisor denounced the video, calling Trump a, quote, stain on American history. The White House has dismissed the video, calling the criticism, quote, fake outrage.
Fake outrage nonsense. All right. All right, so with that, I'm Chris Nelson Daraki of the Israelite School UPK. This is the Monday Night History class. Tune into me next week. I'll be going over the history of Black History Month, the history of February. I touched a little bit briefly about Valentine's Day, but I had to make sure I bring out this President's Day because this is a day that nobody Black, Hispanic, and American should celebrate. You are celebrating George Washington's birthday, who had slaves' teeth put in his mouth because his raggedy ass mouth couldn't keep a clean mouth, so he had to take it from slaves. And no one gives a damn that he had denture problems through all of his, who knows, adult life and through all the wars he went through. No one cares. Nobody. He is an evil man. He ain't complicated. This is a man who owns slaves and mistreat God's chosen people. All the way down to your current regime, as in even down to the previous regime of Joe Biden, who referred to kids as cockroaches. Black kids, of course, who says that he did not want integration because of Black people and their drug addiction and their violence. And here it is, he kept his son in the Caucasian private school, and his son is a drug addict himself. Go figure. We got to come up out of this, out of American spirit. We got to come up out this lifestyle of thinking that they are so inclusive that we should be partakers of their sin. All right, so with that, Yahweh Bashin Yashab thought to all the brothers, Yahweh Shema thought Bashin Yashab to all the sisters. Shalom.